reality, my mentality. Everything changes so rapidly, and I'm ready for the never-ending fire. Dancing with my deepest, dark desires. Miracle, how empirical. Don't know anything quite as hysterical. Everything around me transpires as I fulfill my darkest desire.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Impulsive here, and today I bring another video, and this is the final video on the details I found in the fourth closet. Now, we're just gonna get right into it. Remember to watch the other three before this one because you might not understand the stuff I'm saying. So, for number 46, last time we talked about these like toddler robot thingies, and how they could be into the Pitspring Bonnie. Again, watch the last video, because you might think I'm dumb, but just watch that video. Anyway, but another possibility for these robots could be that they are the Biddy Babs, but, I mean, I kind of doubt it, because they have sharp teeth, and the Biddy Babs' teeth aren't really that sharp, but it's definitely possible. Number 47. What's really interesting to me is that Funtime Foxy in this book is able to change forms between Funtime Foxy and Mangle. I wonder if that's possible somewhere in the games, but if not, it's weird to include here. Number 48. When Carlton is searching for one of the kids that went missing, named Jacob, he finds a red wall with a drawing of a house and stick figures labeled My House. Who drew this? Was it Crying Child? Elizabeth? I would think Elizabeth, but Crying Child actually appears in this book too, which is something barely anyone noticed, and I'll talk more about later. But that's also in the spirit world, so he likely didn't draw this. It's kind of possible though, but there's also other drawn houses, so it could have just been a random kid who drew them. But then it also says they were getting repetitive, so it's possible it was the same kid drawing the same thing again and again. Number 49. Carlton finds a silently screaming looking face, but it was a Jack-in-the-Box. But does that remind you of anybody? Oh, I know. Maybe the puppet? Anybody else? Anybody else think that? Number 50. When Funtime Freddy is destroyed, a yellow eyeball comes out of the machine where he was destroyed. Wait a second. A yellow eyeball? Funtime Freddy has blue eyes in the game, and in the games, and Fourth Closet Funtime Freddy has red eyes. So why is there a yellow eye here? It could possibly be from Mangle, but Mangle is supposed to be inside the ball pit at this point. But wait, doesn't Mangle have one blacked out eye? Not in this book, only in the games. So whose eye is this? Number 51. Baby tells Charlie, "Father wants us to come home." This could be a reference to Baby as Ennard going back home to her childhood house to get Mike. Sorry. Yeah, to get Mike as Ennard. Remember in the fake ending? Since this is her house and William's house that Mike lives in, it's hers and William's old house. And right after that, John grabs a lamp to use as a weapon, and that reminds me of the lamp in that house, since it's used in the same lamp model is used in both FNAF 4 and this location. Number 52. A lot of people gloss over Ella as a character. A lot of people don't mention that Henry didn't build 4 bodies of Charlie, but only 3. Ella was a doll intended for Charlie, and after she died, Charlie's spirit inhabited the doll. Henry could feel her daughter still there. He didn't rebuild her as a robot. Her spirit possessed it. Whether she still possesses it in that universe is questionable, but it's possible. Number 53. In Hide and Seek, Shadow Bonnie was created because of Toby's rage. But in this book, we learn that even before Elizabeth possessed her, Baby was given life by Henry's rage. Also in Hide and Seek, at the end, Toby realizes he has to finish the game for the Shadow to set him free. But he never finished the game, and even still, the game restarts. This, to me, says that Toby merged with it, became it. In other words, Crying Child, since Toby is a parallel to Crying Child, at least in a way, maybe not completely, but in a way, is Shadow Bonnie. And with Baby to have given life from the same thing as Shadow Bonnie, this could serve as further proof for my theory I mentioned in a few episodes ago, that Crying Child could possess Baby along with Elizabeth. Number 54. Carlton got Remnant pumped into his stomach. Wow. Could this mean anything for the lore? People say it would be how BV Fifth or Mike victim work, but I don't think that can be the case for 2 reasons. Number 1. Those theories are don't work with the lore anyway. And 2, in the games and in the books, we never actually see Remnant revive anybody. Yes, it keeps people alive, but it has never ever brought someone back to life. And we know for a fact, thanks to the post-Night 6 minigame and pretty much common sense, that the Crying Child died, so Remnant could not have saved him. Some people believe Crying Child survived, but that cannot be true, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. So yeah, we don't know that Remnant actually brings people back to life. There's no rock-solid evidence of that. So this probably can't work for BB if they're Mike Victim, even if they did work with the lore. Number 55. When Carlton is in the spirit world, Michael says he has to put his friends back together. This reminds me of a few things. Obviously, the infamous "I will put you back together" line, but also what comes right before it. "We are still your friends. Do you still believe that? I will put you back together." 56. Now this is what I've been talking about. In the spirit world, there is a boy wearing a black and white striped t-shirt chasing papers that blew away from him. Now let me reiterate that. The Crying Child is in this book, and he is in the spirit world. So, let that sink in. The Crying Child is a spirit, and that means for 100% certain that he is dead. And it also means he cannot be Michael Afton. Obviously, it's not confirmed he isn't Michael, but some disagree, but it's heavily implied that he is not. There's very little evidence to prove it, and the evidence there isn't very good. So yeah, Mike Victim has now been even further debunked than it was before. Number 57. There are 5 dead kids. We know that already. There's Susie, Fritz, Cassidy, Michael, and Crying Child. And no, this does not prove BB 5th, because Cassidy is literally confirmed to be the 5th kid, and they are shown separately here. But this is interesting because we know who 3 of them possess. Susie is Chica, Fritz is Foxy, and Michael is Golden Freddy. In the games, under Golden Duo, Golden Freddy is Crying Child and Cassidy, not Michael Brooks. But keep in mind, the 2 animatronics left for them to possess, Freddy and Bonnie, but we're uncertain who possesses who. But Freddy and Bonnie. Where do we see Freddy and Bonnie together? Well, there's 2 places. Shadow Freddy and Shadow Bonnie, and some people have connected that. But also, on the gravestones in FNAF 6, Gabriel and Jeremy, who possess Freddy and Bonnie respectively, have the same font on their grave. In FNAF 1, we are told 2 murders happened in one day, and every other murder was on a separate day. It seems to be Shadow Bonnie in the game. It could be that Jeremy and Gabriel died the same day, but let's go back to this book. Crying Child seems to be Shadow Bonnie in the game, at least in some way, and Shadow Freddy is just a dark reflection of Golden Freddy. It's not Cassidy's spirit, but it's still a dark reflection of Golden Freddy. So, in this book, I think Crying Child possesses Bonnie, and Cassidy possesses Freddy. So a lot of people say that Cassidy possesses Bonnie, but no, I think Crying Child possesses Bonnie and Cassidy possesses Freddy. Number 58. At the very end of the story, we are told that Charlie died in 1983. Some people believe the missing children's incident happened in 1985, which I disagree with, but hey, that's just my opinion. But some people also believe Charlie died in the same year as them. But based on Midnight Motorist, we know she died in 1983 or sooner. But this just confirms she died in 1983 and not 1985. So, after finishing the book, I had a theory conversation with Emperor Krakoa about the lore in this book, and we came up with a few new connections. Number 59. Susie in the spirit world says that William told her to do something for him, and in the real world at that exact moment, William had just told Mangle to get Jacob and put him on the table. So, is it possible that Susie is possessing Mangle? But Mangle has Remnant inside him, so maybe Susie is the primary spirit in Mangle? And does that mean spirits in Remnant can take control of the Remnant even with the other spirits inside? If it were true, that would actually explain how Crying Child could be a part of Baby in the games, even if Remnant is in Baby and Crying Child is the most prominent spirit in there. He took control of that section of the Remnant. Number 60. In Coming Home, Susie is said to apparently have a fascination with seeing her toys. By the way, this one is kind of it's kind of loosely connected with what's it called? This book with the fourth closet, but in it's more connected with Coming Home, but I just wanted to mention it here because we were talking about it after I finished reading the book. This Susie having a fascination with seeing her toys, this could reference the toy girl in FNAF 4, and they actually have a lot of similarities, and it's supported in a way from this book. Toy Chica has a bow on her head. In Fruity Maze, if you brighten the image, you can see Susie has a bow of the same color in the same place on her very head. Susie also has a bow on her shirt, and so does Mangle in the games in a very similar spot. And what's her name? Susie has her dog is theorized to possess Mangle, and I know a lot of people hate that theory, but it actually seems kind of likely if you look at the evidence, especially from Ultimate Custom Night. So yeah, Susie has a bow on her shirt, and so does Mangle in the games in a similar spot. The hair is a bit off, but it's a sprite, and Scott has never been good with sprites, so yeah. And Toy Girls is like a dirty blonde looking color, and Susie is just blonde, but yeah, it's a sprite, like I said. So I think it's possible the Toy Girl could be Susie. That would mean the NCI happened after the bite. I still don't think it's in 1985, but maybe just later on in 1983. So yeah, that's it. Those are all the details I found in the fourth closet. Honestly, this book was incredible. I don't know why I waited so long to read it. It'll probably be my favorite book of the trilogy. It's probably my favorite book of the trilogy, I mean. But next up, I'm going to be reading all the Fetch stories, which I've already read Fetch, and I started reading Lonely Freddy. I still have to read Out of Stock, and then I'm going to read the 1:35 a.m. stories, and I'll be doing videos on the details I found in those, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like in the video and subscribe. Also join my Discord server if you haven't already, link in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.